Not a penny! Not a penny! Oh!
Fucking traitor!
Traitor!
Traitor! Out!
A horde. We don't have a government in Leinster House that represents the people of Ireland. We never did have. That is our fundamental problem today. Más ag smaoinemh siar feithis a chéideach a Diarmaid, ní mór doing money na hógand ón taí. Nuair a cheasamar an fód a gcuine príomháidú an córas isce, is é sin nuair a cheasamar le céile bhí an bua a gcuing. Is é cosmhaintear na tíre a há an fear chuacht. If Enda Kenny's turning the sod here 10 years ago showed anything at all, it was his contempt for the citizens of Ireland. He did a stunt to play to media and garner votes in the general election. This is par for the course in Irish politics. You can say and do anything you like and not be held to account or made to answer for it, at least not in any way that is meaningful. Enda Kenny's contempt for the Irish people was not unique. This is what we get from each and every party in Leinster House, including the so-called Independent Ireland, the Rural Independents or other groupings. We have come here today to condemn corrupt government. That is what Enda Kenny's stunt represented. Government in Ireland is corrupt from the highest level down. In fact, the more rotten and corrupt a politician is, it seems to boost their chances of reaching the top. In 2016, I was sentenced to 5 days in jail for not returning an election funding statement, which I had refused to do because it was biased in favour of political parties. But at the same time of my alleged offence, Enda Kenny had been leader of Fine Gael for 12 years, and throughout that time they never made a single return to SIPO, the Standards of Public Office Commission. In Ireland, there are two sets of standards, one for the elite and one for the common people. The elite get what they want, the law serves them, the corporate-controlled media serves them. There truly is one law for the rich and one for the ordinary man. It is commonly accepted among the people that when projects such as the event centre here are proposed, that the initial budget will mean nothing, that the final figure will grow and grow as if no regulation at all was in place. BAM, the main developer involved here, as in so many other state construction projects, are experts at boosting the contract price after it is agreed. Just look at the biggest project, the biggest of all the projects, the Children's Hospital in Dublin, now heading towards 2.5 billion as a budget, 3 times the initial figure. A few other projects with similar overruns include our event centre here, which started with a budget of 50 million, is now estimated with a budget of 150 million and counting. The Portrane Mental Health Hospital, estimated at 160 million, finished costing over 200 million. The national broadband rollout, estimated at 500 million euros, is expected to finish at 2.6 billion. That's a 420% increase. The laboratory built for Forensic Science Ireland, estimated at 16 million, finished costing 100 million. It has long been commonly accepted by working class people that politics in Ireland is corrupt. That is why nearly half the citizens have lost faith in our voting system. And the people are right. They ask, what has that ever done for us? And the answer is, it has done nothing. Corruption is visible in government on a regular basis. Witness the Taoiseach finding 150 million to give to Zelensky when he came to visit. When government wants, money is found and spent without ever going through the national budget process. Contrast that to the penny pinching that faces families who need medical care for loved ones. Families who are decades on waiting lists for public housing. We need efficient ambulance and emergency services in our hospitals. We are told that budget overruns exist, that all these things will have to wait. But Zelensky didn't have to wait. What does this tell us? In truth, ours is a very rich country, full of all the resources that any people could wish for. Our seas have the richest fishing ground in the European Union, yet our fishermen are restricted to a tiny percentage of the total allowable catch. If the super trawlers of the European Union and corporate fishing industry continue, then before long our seas will be a barren wasteland. Neither our government nor the European Union is looking after this huge and valuable and renewable food resource. Our capacity for agriculture is second to none. We have been among the biggest producers of beef in the world, but now that is being handed over to others, probably in order to boost Germany's sales of cars and other produce to South America. We also have the ideal conditions for growing, yet Irish farmers cannot compete with the imports from producers in Spain, Egypt and further afield, whose prices are based on lower quality product and slave-like wages. We had industry in Ireland until the European Union told us we were uncompetitive and had to yield to the larger scale corporate EU producers. Yet Ireland is still ranked in the top 5 wealthy countries worldwide based on GDP per head of population. So where is the wealth? I go back to my opening statement. We don't have government in Leinster House that represents the people of Ireland. We never did have. This is our fundamental problem today. We are a people who are ruled over rather than a people who decides the policy of our own state. We do not live in a democracy. Why do I say this? To me, democracy means that the people are empowered, that we decide, as our constitution says, the policy of our state. We protested here 10 years ago to condemn Enda and all his cronies who had tried to impose the privatisation of our water, installing meters and imposing domestic charges. Privatising our water was not the policy of the people, yet government did their best to impose that, and in fact they may return to try to finish that job if we let them. Democracy is about empowerment. Without empowerment, it doesn't matter what they claim our system to be. It is not democracy. They say that we have free elections, but this is a lie, and they know that this is a lie. How can elections be free when the state itself funds the political party system? This state funds the political parties to the tune of 20 million euros every year. It means that the electoral process is not on a level playing field. If you are not in one of their private party clubs, you are out in the cold and have to pay for your own election campaign. Even the business of the Oireachtas is controlled by the political party whip system. It tells TDs how to vote. The whip denies a TD's duty to represent their constituency. Instead, they must do as they're told by the party hierarchy. This bias in favour of political party system exists, including in our electoral laws, despite the fact that there is no mention of the words political party in Bunreacht na hÉireann. Our constitution and democratic process have been hijacked by what are essentially private member clubs of vested interests, otherwise called political parties. I said earlier that working class people believe with good cause that elections have never done anything for us, and this is true. However, I think it a mistake to yield any ground to the ruling elite. We should organise and compete with them. If not, we have surrendered and done exactly what they want. Throughout history, we have seen examples of people power. We saw it here 10 years ago. When people come together and organise to fight for our rights, we win. Communities across Ireland came together to fight the privatisation of Irish water, and we defeated the government's efforts. A brighter future can be ours if we seize it. We must organise and we must be united. Berbua.